Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, TV Reviews to Connection of Mind, and welcome back to another installment in my review and reaction series to each and every episode of Season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. Now, if you've never seen one of my reaction episodes before, this is just where I give my brief summation on the latest episode of whatever series I happen to be reviewing, give my thoughts on what I liked and disliked, what I thought worked and didn't work, as well as some analysis of certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. Now, just to get this out of the way, this will be a full spoiler review and react to the Season 4, Episode 3 of Star Trek Discovery. So if you've not seen this episode yet, I highly recommend coming back when you have, because this will be full-on spoilers from here on out. So with that being said, without further ado, let's get into Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 3, entitled Choose to Live. Now, this we have a couple of different stories running parallel in this this episode. We have pretty much an A, B, and C story, really. Arguably, the A story is revolving around Gray getting his new android body and him separating himself from Adira so that his consciousness can then transfer into this new body. Of course, they say, there's no guarantees in this, there's a lot of risk involved, and there's going to be a lot of waiting and seeing. And this is a very meditative episode, and this story itself has a lot of, contemplative moments, and, Adira racking themselves, again, trying to get Gray to, wake up, and Culber just, feeling like he's needing some comfort while also comforting, and Saru helping him along with that route. So that's story A, I'd say. Story B involves Burnham is now and Tilly are tasked with investigating a bunch of dilithium thefts, one of which involved the most recent of which happened with the death of a Starfleet officer on board the USS Credence. And it turns out the thieves are members of the Co-op Malat, the monk order, I guess, that is part of Navarre Society, and also the order in which Burnham's mother has been inducted to after she got transported to the future. And now Burnham's mother, Burnham, and Tilly are working together with the Co-op Malat to run down this rogue person who is responsible for the death of this Starfleet officer. And also, we also find that this person's lost cause is in fact a sleeper vessel, a sleeper moon, essentially, that the last of this civilization, they had fled their planet after it had been destroyed, and now, but something went wrong in their wake-up protocol, I guess, and they're still sleeping in orbit around this planet that was supposed to be their new home. However, the big anomaly that threatens this the galaxy now is getting very close to this planet, and so now this thief had to steal dilithium in order to get its engines working so that it can get away. However, Burnham is able to convince her that, hey, there's a better way. You can fix the engine, sure, but I can also fix the cryo system so that these aliens can now wake up. And wouldn't that fulfill your oath to the lost cause? She agrees. Burnham fixes them, and one of the last shots in this episode is now the aliens waking up and their pods, leaving this moon to colonize this new planet of theirs. And then arguably the C story of this episode involves Book and Stamets transferring to the transporting to the Navarre Science Academy, where they're trying to nail down a theory as to whether or not this anomaly that is threatening the galaxy is in fact a proto-wormhole, I believe is what he refers to it. However, Stamets is worried because it meets 4 of his 5 criteria for this to work. However, the 5th one, the presence of tachyons, is missing, and so he was hoping that the Navarre Science Academy would confirm his suspicions They can't. However, the minister says, "Oh, we have an eyewitness in Book," and because the presence of tachyons at the destruction of Quajon would have given, like an aurora borealis effect in the atmosphere, and that's how we'll know if there were tachyons or not. Stamets is obviously, hey, if you're gonna you want to mind meld with Book and have him basically relive the death of his planet. Is this really such a great idea? I don't want to have to put him through that. And Book's like, no, it's okay. I need to do this, and because there's a greater good involved. And in doing so, he also actually, relives why he's getting some closure in this, and he realizes what was going on with his hallucinations from the previous episode. And that's really all this episode wrap up. I feel like this episode is kind of a setting of the stage sort of episode. We have a lot of things. There are some action things going on. However, this is more of a meditative, contemplative episode, and I think that actually kind of works for it. Not every episode needs to be, action all the time, and I think this one actually did a relatively decent job of that. I think it asks the important questions. It provides an answer, or it doesn't attempt to solve the problem. Only nudge us in the direction of where answers might be found. And I think it does a good job of that. It doesn't attempt to preach per se. So I think that was a good job. Really, my only main complaint about this episode is I was never a huge fan of the co-op Malat. I believe they were introduced in Picard season 1, and I never found them great to begin with. And now this whole episode focuses on them. Burnham keeps bringing it up in universe. It's like, yes, we can try to respect your ways, but no, this person killed a Starfleet officer. We're gonna bring him in. We're gonna use phasers. No, you got to use swords. Like, we're gonna be at a huge disadvantage. Like, really? It's like this. It felt very contrived in order to just have a sword fight. And don't get me wrong, the sword fights are fine, but it felt very contrived in my opinion. So, but overall, an interesting episode. It felt more like progress made on a character front rather than a plot front, and in my mind, that's okay for right now, so long as the next episode, pushes us further along in the plot, and I think it's a good episode so far. Some things that I noticed in here that seem familiar to me, where you may have seen them before. The fact that this episode revolved, the story arc with Burnham and her mother. You got the two different agendas. The Federation president takes Burnham aside and say, "Hey, no, we're gonna, respecting your ways and cooperation and submission are two different things, and we need you to bring them in." Having a different agenda for this person. It made me think of the story arc from Battlestar Galactica season 4, I believe, when they're trying to reactivate Deanna. Both the Cylons and the humans want Deanna for their own purposes, and there's backs that way. It's like, all right, who's going to betray who? Which agenda is actually going to win out? So I think there was an element of that in this episode. Also, the fact that Gray, building a new android body and incorporating it into it so that you can rejoin the real world. Made me think of an episode of Stargate Atlantis, in fact, entitled Ghost in the Machine, where Elizabeth, after she'd been turned into a replicator, transferred her consciousness to a replicator body, and then her body was destroyed and her consciousness now lives in subspace, and now the whole plot revolves around, we need to make new replicator bodies so that we can make new human bodies, so we continue. That whole thing just made me think of that episode. Those are just the things that came to mind when I was watching it. What did you think of this latest episode of Star Trek Discovery? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Personally, I thought it was actually pretty decent. I'm so far so good with this season. What about my analysis? Do you agree, disagree? Did I miss anything? I probably missed something. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my review of next week's episode, as well as my next movie review, which will be for West Side Story, which comes out December 10th. And if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, once again. But just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.